If you go back inside, you'll never get out.
Welcome back, Kozlov.
Stay down there. Stay down there. You tell Lane I don't want to talk to the press. I will kill him right now.
The movie begins with former U.S. soldier Peter Kozlov, who now serves as an undercover agent for the FBI's New York City field office. He has infiltrated a Polish crime organization and is providing his handler with solid evidence to indict the crime boss, known as the General. Peter informs his wife, Sophia, and daughter, Anna, that they must go on a trip because the long-awaited operation has started. Peter's handler, Erica Wilcox, briefs her team on the plan in which Peter will deliver 6 pounds of fentanyl to the General. And this is where they come in. Peter secures his family in a warehouse and leaves his wife the key. She is instructed to leave the state if he does not return by 1 p.m. the following day.
You don't open the door to anyone. We'll be on the road. All this will be over.
He meets with Wilcox in a rundown bathroom where she provides him with a phone for communication and a wire to wear. If things go wrong, he will ask for a smoke, and Wilcox's team will aid him. Peter, along with Stasek, meets a diplomat who possesses a batch of fentanyl. They follow the plan by placing the fentanyl in another bag and leaving the diplomat at the hotel. Stasek purchases a bottle of liquor for the General, his uncle, and decides to surprise him with cash instead of fentanyl. Despite Peter's silent objections so as not to blow his cover, this change disrupts the entire plan. Nevertheless, Wilcox decides to continue with the operation. At a club, the buyer named Gomez appears extremely nervous and confesses that he doesn't have enough money to purchase all 6 pounds of fentanyl. Still, he can afford 3 and can arrange for the remaining 3 with a value of $85,000, which displeases Stasek. Peter calms him down and starts questioning how he will raise the $85,000 in 2 hours, doubting his intentions. When Stasek steps away to take a call, Peter confronts him about being an undercover cop and urges him to leave. However, Gomez continues to act ignorant. Peter pushes him to the ground, giving him a chance to leave, but Gomez draws a gun and a badge, and Stasek shoots him.
No, freeze!
Peter is in shock and requests a smoke as a signal for Wilcox to intervene, but she calls off the plan and drives past Peter. Leaving him to fend for himself. Then he is asked to help pack and dispose of the body. Peter is invited to a sausage factory to meet the General. He calmly explains to him that a New York cop was killed, and someone has to answer for it if they don't want the NYPD poking their nose in where it does not belong. Even though Stasek was the one who killed the cop, the General makes it seem like Stasek saved Peter's life and now owes him his life's worth. To settle his debt, he asks Peter to go to prison and run the drug ring from the inside for 5 years. To intimidate him even more, the General tells him to think of his family, leaving him no choice.
How much are the lives of your wife and daughter worth to you? You informed them what happened at Technishka.
Peter and his family are brought back home, and he contacts Wilcox. She tells him she couldn't get him because it would jeopardize their 4-year plan and hangs up the phone. Peter is angry that his wife Sophia didn't leave, but they quickly reconcile, and she helps him clean off the blood. The police find the body, and Detective Grenz, who has lost one of his best friends, starts working to find the culprit. He quickly finds out that his friend's death is connected to a Polish gang. He finds footage and connects Peter's involvement to it. Peter, Wilcox, and her boss, Montgomery, meet and tell Peter he's in big trouble. They have been trying to cover it all up, but to no avail. Peter wants out, but they want to follow the General's plan and lock him up. If he gathers enough evidence in state prison about the fentanyl distribution network, he will be a free man. However, if he refuses, he will be exposed as an undercover agent and sent to prison for the murder of an undercover police officer. Not much of a choice.
You should think of your family, Pete.
Peter puts the recordings of his conversation with Wilcox at home in a box. The next morning, Stasek visits him and gives him some fentanyl to sneak into prison.
If you go back inside, you'll never get out. You know that, do you?
He spends the entire day with his daughter, noting the prison's layout.
Sophia and Anna will be in an FBI safe house before Klimek even knows what happened. You have my absolute word on that.
When he returns home, a Polish gang and even the general visit his house. He says that he has no children because he cannot bear to lose them. And with that, he hints to Peter that he had better keep his end of the bargain to take the fall. Grenz has been monitoring Peter's house and informing his partner that the general has left Peter's residence. The next day, Peter acts as the abusive husband, while Sophia calls the police to have him arrested.
911, what's your emergency?
He wants to kill me. Please send someone fast.
On the other hand, Grenz witnesses Peter being taken away. In prison, Peter is welcomed back by a corrupt guard and taken to his bunk bed, which is surrounded by African Americans. Another prisoner bribes the guard to free up 2 bunk bed spots for his associates to ensure Peter's safety. Later, the warden puts Peter in a cleaning program at Wilcox's request. Peter becomes acquainted with his Polish prison gang members and is given a shift to prepare for an upcoming brawl. Grenz visits Wilcox to ask for information about Peter, but she feigns ignorance. Montgomery tries to resolve the situation by explaining that they have no connection to Peter. However, after being shown surveillance pictures of Peter and Wilcox taken on the day Grenz's friend died, he warns them that there will be conflict between the FBI and NYPD.
We love us a good fight. Have a good day.
Sophia follows Peter's instructions on delivering items to the prison using a drone. The next day, Peter cleans the roof as part of the cleaning program and retrieves the items. Grenz visits Sophia at her workplace to gather more information about Peter. At this point, he's unsure if Peter is the killer. Sophia tells him she cannot assist him and asks him to leave.
I hope you don't learn that the hard way.
Grenz leaves her his card in case she changes her mind. Later, Grenz communicates with Peter through one of his informants, informing him that his gang will not be around in the yard at some point. If he wishes, the only option is to indicate that he's willing to talk about the undercover cop's death. The corrupt guard takes Peter to the African-American gang leader, Phelps, who controls the drug trade inside the prison and feels threatened by Peter. Phelps and his men attempt to kill Peter until he reveals that he is an undercover FBI informant aiming to bring down the general.
What are those names for? Lay him down. You give me that list, I'll bury that Polish cocksucker.
He is released, and Phelps agrees to provide information, provided Peter remains alive. Meanwhile, back at the FBI headquarters, Montgomery orders Wilcox to eliminate Peter and halt all operations involving the general. Montgomery guarantees she'll be the scapegoat if she doesn't comply.
You will serve jail time, I guarantee it. It's an order.
At night, Peter receives information from one of Phelps's men and then calls Wilcox, informing her that he has figured out the general's entire network and requesting her assistance getting him out. The individual is in peril, but Wilcox chooses not to act because she's been instructed to eliminate him and would rather ensure her safety. Peter is angry and then decides to contact Sophia. He instructs her to hand over the recordings of his interactions with Wilcox to Grenz and leave the state.
All right, give him the tapes.
You gotta do it right now. You want out, you ain't safe. You gotta get out of the house.
You gotta make him promise to protect you too.
On the other hand, Wilcox approaches the general's attorney, who passes on the information that Peter is an undercover agent. Subsequently, she faces Sophia and acquires the recorded tapes because the FBI has eavesdropped her phone conversation with Peter. Tormented by guilt, Wilcox listens to the tapes and hears herself giving her word to protect Sophia and his daughter.
Sophia and Anna will be in an FBI safe house before Klimek even knows what happened. You have my absolute word on that.
One of Phelps's associates signals that he has been exposed in prison. Peter prepares for a confrontation, but his improvised knife is missing. While searching for it, he is assaulted by a member of a Polish gang. Peter manages to overpower him and render him unconscious. He appears on camera to alert the guards. When the corrupt guard approaches the scene, he takes him hostage and demands to speak to the press and his wife. He then reaches an isolated tower and subdues the guard. He checks the lookout points from the windows using his prior experience as a U.S. Army sniper. Meanwhile, Stasek confronts Peter's family, who were just on the phone with Detective Grenz. He arrives at Peter's house shortly after and eliminates one of Stasek's men. He ascends the stairs and gets shot in the leg. He refrains from firing back as Stasek has a hostage and loses his firearm due to hesitating. As Stasek is about to finish off Grenz, Sophia manages to break free and shoots Stasek in the back, but is shot herself. At the prison, snipers have taken their positions, and Montgomery arrives on the scene, prepared to issue the order to shoot Peter at the earliest opportunity. The warden is present to meet Peter's demands. Peter contacts his wife and reassures her that he will escape the situation. Montgomery interrupts the conversation. Peter presents himself while holding the guard hostage for the snipers and swaps clothes with him.
Wake up.
He then revives the guard, allows the corrupt guard to take him hostage, and presents himself to the snipers, who shoot and puncture one of the CO2 tanks. Peter manages to conceal himself, but the tank explodes. Upon Wilcox arrives at the scene and finds the prison engulfed in flames, Montgomery informs her that the job is complete. When the paramedics transport Peter to the ambulance while he's wearing the guard's uniform, she recognizes him and accompanies him. Ultimately, she plans to assist Peter by orchestrating a hostage situation. She hands him a note and a phone, and he escapes. Later on, Erica meets Montgomery on a ferry and confesses to knowing Peter's location. He openly commands her to eliminate him, but it turns out to be a trap, as Wilcox has been wiretapped and has informed the NYPD about Montgomery's illicit activities, leading to his arrest. Peter wants to reunite with his family, but when Wilcox spots him, she signals that numerous undercover agents are present. Suddenly, Grenz approaches him and provides false documents from Wilcox, urging him to hide until the situation calms down. He shares one last glance with Sophia before disappearing into hiding.